First of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming to our end of session press conference for the Missouri Legislative Black Caucus. This session, the Missouri Legislative Black Caucus focused on economic equity, accountability in government, and ensuring that our communities are not just represented, but respected. Through disciplined strategy, we've leveraged our collective votes to influence key negotiations and advance policies that serve the people. We stood firm on education, public safety, healthcare access, and economic development, especially in communities that are overlooked. Our strategic legislative highlights, I would say, are the video lottery terminals, the VLTs. The MLBC used its voting power to take a principled stance in the VLT debate. Our position was rooted in protecting communities, ensuring revenue was directed equitably, and not allowing unregulated markets to exploit our neighborhoods. In education equity, we helped secure state funding for education and school transportation. We fought back against curriculum censorship and worked to preserve inclusive education policies. Our budget influence. We leveraged our caucus to push for equitable funding in workforce development, mental health services, and community reinvestments. We also advocated for the investments in HBCUs, Black entrepreneurs, and youth programs, public safety and justice reform. We promoted oversight and transparency measures in public safety systems. We advocated for alternatives to incarceration, especially with our youth. And in healthcare, we supported expansion on maternal care and reducing maternal mortality, especially among Black women who face the highest rates in Missouri. So at this time, I would like to have a few individuals come forward and give you a little bit more information with some of their committees and as well as our budget as well. So first I would like to have Melissa Douglas, First of all, I'd like to have my secretary, Representative Yolanda Young, come forth and she'll give you an overview on the budget.
Thank you. I was honored to be a part of the budget team of 10 Democratic caucus members this session, and with 4 of us actually serving as members of the Missouri Legislative Black Caucus. And I tell you, we worked very hard, countless hours, to craft a budget that the House granted passage finally this last week. But it was not without some cuts to projects that were deeply important to our caucus. Most notably HB 19, which I believe one of our colleagues will talk about later. However, we were able to fund some projects that give back to the community, like food insecurity grants, recidivism programs, mentoring programs, healthcare centers, and Juneteenth celebrations. We also focused heavily on ensuring that public schools are fully funded. And we also focused on child care subsidies and protecting our most vulnerable citizens. We are very proud that some of those dollars are going and will be in our communities. Now I'll step aside so that another budget member, Melissa Douglas, can come forward and talk a little bit more about the budget.
Hello, and thank you all for coming. The budget process was, it was a very unique and long hours, and we could not have done it without the support staff and, of course, coming together and being able to work across the aisle when it comes to really trying to, first of all, understand the budget, but also, second of all, make sure that we're advocating in favor of our own individual communities and districts. The Democrats were able to fund many projects around the state that gave back to the community. Of course, we talked about food insecurity, fully funding the education formula, healthcare centers, Juneteenth celebrations, and we're also, just very proud to bring those dollars back. But unfortunately, because House Bill 19 was not offered to the House, it failed to pass. And that substantially traumatized a lot of our communities, both Democratic and Republican. And so therefore, specifically talking about my District 27 individually, the capital improvement that is no longer available to be funded will be our Delano project, which is an ongoing partnership with our neighborhoods as well as with our school district and the city of Kansas City to provide unaccompanied youth housing along with wraparound services and some other services that would have benefited the youth within our community. But also at the same time, a capital project that would have enhanced Starlight to provide a cover so that we can provide some additional comfort during the summer months as we continue to work with our entertainment industry. And then also at the same time, the House Bill, the elimination of the House Bill 19 also put a stop to some of the funding that is very much needed through the UMKC dental school expansion project that would have serviced our St. Joe, Missouri. In addition, one item that the Republicans had on House Bill 19 that did also die would be additional funds that would go to Missouri Western in the St. Joe area that would help support and aid and continue to foster that relationship that Missouri Western has with the Kansas City Chiefs so that they're able to do some updates and some other improvements to the facility so that training camp continue to stay in the St. Joseph area where we know that it is a huge impact for that community, both dollars-wise as well as the ongoing relationships that the players have within the community. Some other things that did also fail to pass in House Bill 19 would be the W.B. Du Bois Center, where we provide additional ongoing educational supplemental training and tutoring and just being a pillar within our East Side community to be able to just really go on and make sure that we're meeting the needs of our most vulnerable people in our community, which we do believe are our students. We are also excited that outside of the budget, we were able to fund a couple of public transportation initiatives, which is very significant within the Kansas City area as a whole. One project which will help provide the safety and security for all that come into our city through through World Cup, because we are excited about that. And then just overall statewide, the transportation formula, making sure that it doesn't fall below, but we're still able to provide quality transportation for all across the state. And so the goal behind the budget team was to make sure that we were servicing our community, but more importantly, making sure that we were advocating for all so that everybody got a piece of the pie, so that no one said that any one place took more than the other. We were working collectively as a group and really diligently to work across the aisle to make sure that everything was fair and equitable. Thank you.
Next, you'll hear from our Vice Chair, Representative Yolanda Fountain Henderson.
And again, thank you all for coming. As we close out Teacher Appreciation Week, I want to begin by recognizing extraordinary dedication of our education part. Their impact reaches far beyond classroom. It shapes our communities, our economy, and our future. We are pleased to announce that the educational funding has been approved for our public school students. We thank the senators and the state representatives who supported the vital investment in Missouri futures. We are proud to announce over $55 million in child care initiative with over $350 million in child care subsidies. These funds paid out the start of the month to follow federal guidelines will help families to cross to Missouri access quality care. And finally, we fully funded the foundation formula with over $4.28 billion and, allocated $376 million for school transportation, ensuring every student recognized of zip codes can go to school safely and return to learn. This is how we build a strong Missouri, by standing up for public education and standing together for our future. However, we all must speak plentiful about troubling trend diversity of the public money to private institution. Over 50 million of general revenue, your tax dollars are being funneled into private schools. This is not only a bad policy, it is unconstitutional. And we'll speak about that later. Hopefully they will end up in court if this does go through. When a student is underperforming, the answer is not abandonment. It's support. Lawmakers should be equip public schools with tools to be successful, setting them up to fail. Let's remember, investment in education is an investment in public safety, economical strength, and economical health.
Okay, so we would also just want to say that each and every member that you see behind me, that's standing with me, has been basically working overtime. They've been hard at it since they first got here in January, and they haven't stopped. There's still work to be done. We won't just take time off while we're out of session. We'll continue this work by implementing some of the things that we have been able to do and take those things back to our districts with us. So I just want to commend each and every one of you for the great work that you've done this year, and I look forward to continuing this work. We're going to continue to use this word over and over, and the word is leverage. We're going to make sure that the moves that we're making are going to be impactful in our districts. So at this point, once again, we thank you all for coming, and we look forward to seeing you again in the near future. Any questions?
Yeah, so I guess kind of in the last couple of sessions there has been the ideas of picking on St. Louis and Kansas City, and we obviously saw that this year with the return of state control for the police department. I guess kind of, what do you feel like that was kind of the biggest issue that quote unquote like was unfair to the cities, and I guess kind of things that maybe are on your radar as far as future sessions?
Marlon, I'd like you to come, Representative Anderson answer this question.
To answer your question, yes, we believe HB 495 was unfair, but we also think the repealing of Prop A was unfair, and HJR 73. So there was a substantial amount of pieces of legislation that picked on our cities, but they also picked on the whole state and undid the will of the people. Thank you.
Well, we do thank you.